Hello there, Ms. Shibley here with our skills lesson for today. Today we will be focusing on spelling alternatives, and that means different ways of spelling the sound and different ways of spelling it be NG and N. So what I will learn today are I can review sound spellings I have previously learned. I can decode words with NG and N. I can read Grace the performer with purpose and understanding. And I can answer oral questions about key details in the story Grace the performer. And oral questions are when I ask you a question out loud, and then you can say the answer out loud as well. So let's review. We're going to review some of the sounds that we have previously learned. And these sounds are vowel spelling. So it could be a vowel and a consonant or a vowel and a vowel. So let's see. We have like her, R like car, or like for, oo like soon. We have like look, ow like shout, oil like oil, and aw like paw. Okay, now that you heard me say them, let's say them together. Or you can repeat after me. That's okay too. Like her, R, car, or, for, oo, soon, look, ow, shout, oi, oil, aw, paw. Great job! Now that brings us back to our focus for today. This is our new sound, and our new sound is like sing is NG. And if we look at the bar here, this bar tells us that NG is the most common way to say If we look at this one where it says N for pink, it shows us that it's not very common because it's a smaller bar. So sing and pink, you hear the in both of those words. And I invited a very special friend to help us learn more about the sound. I hope you enjoy meeting her too.
Ooh, Geraldine. Oh, Geraldine, are you a bit poorly today? Oh, Geraldine, I thought you would be in fine voice. Would you like to practice a letter sound on a different day? Oh, you want to do it today? Aha, good girl. Today, Geraldine, we're going to learn the sound. Spelled with the NG graphemes, and they're to your side. Okay? Can you have a go at making that sound? Oh, Geraldine, that was a sneeze. Have another go. Well done. Fantastic. Can you have a look around the house for anything that's got that sound in? Off you go then. So off she went around the house to find something featuring Oh, Geraldine, you found a hanger. And hanger has got the sound and the NG spelling. Well done. Good girl. What else? Ah, it's the Olympic Rings. And ring has a sound in. Can you pick up the Olympic rings a little bit more, Geraldine, so we can see them? Aha! And rings. Ring has a spelling in also. Well done. What else can you find? What else, Geraldine? Oh, it's your tongue. I can see it. Show me again. Wow, it's your tongue, and tongue has got a sound in. Well done. Oh, Geraldine, don't blow a raspberry with that tongue of yours. Woo! What else can you find? Ah, Geraldine, it's a nice long neck. Wow, what a beauty. Whew. Rather long neck, and long has got the sound. That's NG spelling. Well done, Geraldine. What else? Oh, Geraldine, you are a clever giraffe. You're doing the ironing. And ironing ends with the sound. Oh, Geraldine. Oh, Geraldine, pick up the iron so we don't leave it burning. Woo! Well done, Geraldine. Now, have one last go of that sound. Come on, Geraldine. If I give you a little good luck tickle under your chin, will that make a difference? Ah! Geraldine, come on now. Have a go of that sound. Good girl. Well done. See you next time.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed meeting my friend Geraldine and listening to her as she went around and found different objects with the sound. Now we're going to practice with our sound spelling tree. We have our list of words, and then we have our tree, and down at the base or the trunk of our tree, we have the sound, so And on our branches, we have N, so any of the words that have the sound that's spelled with N are going to go on this branch, and it's a little bit shorter than the NG branch because we know that NG, the one that makes a sound, this way is more common. So this one's a little bit longer. So let's go through our and see which branch of the tree they belong on. Our first word is the word sing. If we look at it, we can see the NG. So let's see. Nope, this wouldn't be the NG. Oh, over here would be, let's see. Oh, sing belongs on the NG branch. What about the word ring? Would it go on the N branch or NG branch? You're right, the NG branch. What about the word thing? Let's look at how it's spelled. NG. It does go on the NG branch. Great job. What about the word wrong? Oh, you're right. It is the NG branch again. What about the word bank? Oh, you're right. There isn't a G there, so it would go on the N branch. So the N makes an ing sound. What about the word pink? You hear in there, pink. You're right. It would go on the N branch. Great job. You're also smart. What about the word think? And you hear the again. Oh, the N branch again. Good job. What about blanket? We say blanket. Oh, it would go on the N branch. Awesome. And our last one is the word finger. Where would finger go? It would go on the NG branch. Great job sorting our words by the sounds that we hear and by the way that they are written. So we know N and NG both make the sound Can you say that? Good job. Now it's time for our story. And we will be reading Grace the Performer. So in today's story, you're going to hear about a time that Grace performed perform before an audience. And a performance is when you're acting out or you're doing something, you're showing somebody what you can do. And an audience is a group of people that you're doing it in front of. It could be one person, it could be many people. But before we get started with that, we have our spelling preview. So here's our sounds for today. Remember, but it's spelled with N. So honks, clunks, and thinks. Then we have our W sound spelled with WH. So white and whoops. Then we have our N sound spelled with KN. So knee. And then we have our multi-syllable words. Okay, that means it could be 2 syllables, it could be 3 syllables, it could be more. So let's look. Perform. That one would be 2 syllables. And then performer. That one would be 3 syllables. Okay. Our core vocabulary for today are the words mime, which is someone who does not talk but acts out funny things to make people laugh. An example of that in a sentence is the mime never said a word, but his show was so funny. Have you ever seen a mime? I've watched them in videos and they are pretty funny. Okay. And perform means to give a show for an audience. An example of that is I will perform my magic trick for my whole family. So in that sentence, the audience would be my family. Mute means silent and not speaking. An example of that is I asked my mom a lot of questions about my gift, but she stayed mute. Then we have the word stand, which is this word right here. And it means metal or wooden benches where people sit to watch a show or performance. An example of that is Gretchen went to a soccer game with her family and they sat in the stands. And our last word is act, which is a performance. An example of that is the actress began to cry, but it was just part of her act. Ooh, and here is our story for today. Okay, our title is up here. So Grace the Performer. And you can go ahead and read along with me. And any part where it has the bold, like the C is here, or the KN, or the WH, those are our sound spellings that are new to us and that we're paying close attention to. They're in bold to remind us that they might not sound the way that we think they sound. Okay, so Grace jumps out of bed and gets dressed. She slips on striped knee socks, green pants, and a green top. Next, Grace gets out her makeup. She rubs some white makeup on her face. Then, she gets out red lipstick for her lips. She slips on a wig and pins a hat to the wig. The last thing she adds is a big red nose. I'm going to pause there because I see that there's a picture over here and I want to see what all of them looks like. Okay, so it said she has striped socks, and there they are, green pants, and a green top. Her face has white makeup onto it. She has red lips with her red lipstick. She has a big red nose. There's her wig, and there's her hat. But she also has on these big green shoes too that we wouldn't know if we only read it. So we can see that she has big shoes on. We can see that she has a yellow bow. And we can also see that she has gloves on by looking at the picture. So Grace is getting dressed up to be a mime. There are lots of fun things to do at the park this week. Today, Grace will perform for lots of children. Her job will be to make all the children in the tent at the park smile. But she can't tell jokes. Mimes do not tell jokes. In fact, mimes do not use words at all. They have to keep mute at all times. That is what makes the job a hard one. But that is what makes the job a fun one. So she's saying that because she can't talk, it's hard to make people laugh. But because she can't talk, it's also fun because she has to be creative and think of other ways to make them laugh. Grace starts off with a bike trick. She stacks up a bunch of cups. Then she jumps them with her bike. The children cheer and Grace honks her bike horn. Next, Grace grabs a rose and waves it at the children in the stands. Oops! It's a trick rose with a hose in it. Some of the children get wet. At the end of her act, Grace gets up on a rope. She takes 3 steps on the rope, then she acts like she is slipping. Whoops! Grace slips and lands sitting on the ground with a clunk and a thump. But it was all part of the act. Grace has a big soft pad roped to her back. The children cheer. They like the mime and her act. Mom, Dad, and Jill are sitting in the stands too. They clap and yell loudest of all. Grace smiles and waves. She thinks it's fun to be a mime and perform. Okay, and here's our discussion questions for today. And remember, I'm only going to ask these ones out loud. You don't have any written questions for today. So it says, describe what Grace wears when she performs as a mime. Oh, and that should say mime there. Sorry, I accidentally typed that wrong. So that should say mime. And it said you should look at the text and the images to answer the question. So we'll go back and we will look at that picture. So how do you think she's dressed? So Grace is wearing striped knee socks, green pants, a green top. She has white makeup, red lipstick. She has an orange wig, which we wouldn't know what color it was unless we're looking at the picture. An orange wig with a hat pinned to it and a big red nose. We also know that she has big green shoes and she has a yellow bow. Let's see what our next question is. What makes the job of a mime hard? And what makes the job fun? Grace said that it is hard to be a mime because you can't talk. But she also said that because you can't talk, it is also fun. And number 3, do you think it would be hard to make people laugh without talking? Would it be fun? What do you think? You can share that answer with a family member. Or send your teacher an example of what you think and you'll get an extra dojo point. Okay, and this is your work today. So in your skills book, there is a page that says The Visit, and it's on page 77 in your Skills 6 book. Okay, so on that page, you're going to circle the pronouns, and pronouns are he, she, it, we, us, her, him, his, their, our, I, and you, because they replace people's names or an object's name or an animal's name. Okay, and then you're also going to color the words. An example of those are long and morning. And I'm going to do the first paragraph, so up here, as an example. So ready? The Spencers are on a trip to visit their, and there's a pronoun, gran. So there would be the Spencers' gran. It's, and it is there again, but let's finish our sentence and see what it replaces. It's a long car ride from the farm. So it would be the trip. The trip is a long car ride from the farm. Okay, their dad drives in the morning. And there's another pronoun right there. There would be Grace and Jill. Then their mom drives after lunch. Oh, there's another pronoun. We have the word there again, replacing Grace and Jill. Then Grace and Jill feel like the trip will never end. We have all of our pronouns from this sentence. Well, from this paragraph. Okay. Then your next part is to color the words. An example, it was long and morning. So let's read this and see if we can find their sound. And you can pick whatever color you want, but you have to make sure you can still see the word underneath it. Okay. So the Spencers are on a trip to visit their gran. It's a long, oh, there's our word, car ride from the farm. Their dad drives in the morning. Oh, and there's another one. Then their mom drives after lunch. Grace and Jill feel like the trip will never end. Okay, and that's the end of our example. You need to do the same thing on the rest of the page, on page 77 and on page 78. Don't forget to send your teacher a picture.